Here we go on the YouTube side as well. It's going to be strange for them. We're already going to be with a face on screen when we come in, and we are indeed a face on screen. We're going to do welcome again. Welcome everyone on the YouTube side. We have already been live on TikTok for a moment, but there was a bit of a sputtering between the software and the YouTube. Welcome. We are talking wrestling news as always. Our top story is new 5-year deals for Bliss, Kevin Owens, and indeed a brand new 5-year deal for someone just joining from TNA. We're going to talk WWE's use of celebs and plenty about what matches are currently planned for WrestleMania. Liv Morgan, for example, is going to get a few mentions here. I just found some rubble in my pocket. I do apologise. Just going to throw that on the floor for now. I've been breaking a bit more of my office in the meantime. Spider-Boss says, any truth about Meltzer's report on Roman? I'm going to need you to tell me what Meltzer's report on Roman is. Thank you, Liam, for confirming. You guys need to remember, when it comes to Meltzer, I can't read his newsletter because I'm not paying for stuff that I already know. Penta says, why are they getting the NXT walkouts but failing on the main roster? A lot seem very unhappy. No one, to my knowledge, is failing on the main roster. They're just not appearing that much on the main roster. Triple H has a very distinct way of using people in NXT, and it's not the way that Vince McMahon would have. I have no issue with that. In fact, I'm quite happy about it overall. What he does is he brings people from NXT, and they come in at the bottom, so nobody gets offended. It's pretty normal, and everyone's used to it. Cal says, really excited for Alexa's first match in over 2 years. Do you think we'll see the Wyatts tonight? We'll wait and we'll see. Welcome, Irish Neeb. Good to see you. Penta says, hey, Tom, used to be Wyatt 6. Now Penta, love watching all your shows. I appreciate that, mate. Welcome to the show. Michael says hi. Declan says hi. Sean says hello. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you guys. We already have 63 people on the YouTube, 26 likes. Let's keep that going. We're also live on TikTok. For those who haven't joined on both, Proud Dad has just sent over a rose, and I appreciate you. That's 2 hearts and a rose already. I don't understand the TikTok thing all too well, but what I do know is that when people give donations, I go up in a tier list of like leagues of TikTok Live. The higher league you are, the more likely you are to pop up on the For You page. By and large, you don't pop up on the For You page unless you get to a certain league. Thank you very much, Ed. Appreciate you for that. I'm not going to say to anyone, give donations, give me this, give me that. That ain't who I am, and I'm absolutely not going to be playing that card. If you are wanting to donate, you can, and I appreciate you for it. If not, I still appreciate you very much. And also, for those that didn't spot it, we're monetized on YouTube once again. You should now be seeing ads on YouTube when you first join, and only when you first join, because we are back to being... notifications everywhere. We are back to being monetized on YouTube. You can now donate if you would like to, or become a channel member if you would like to as well, and that is one of the many ways that you can continue to support the channels. Liam says, surely the move to SmackDown for Bliss, that means she'll be involved in the Wyatt 6, not guaranteed. Spider-Boss says, when do we expect we could see Becky back on TV? I expect she'll be there in time for WrestleMania. Spider-Boss says, according to Meltzer, WWE is using Roman's Rumble injury so Roman doesn't get pinned at the Chamber. What injury is that? Ooh, here we go. Rosal says there's a lot of discourse about Rhea versus Io. Is that match happening at Chamber? Seems likely, yes. That does seem to be the plan at the moment. The original intention was for a match between Rhea and Io to take place at the Elimination Chamber. Rhea essentially will give that title match to Io as an apology for screwing her out of the Chamber. She'll give her a free title match. I ain't got no issue with that. That sounds fun. We already have nearly 3,000 likes on TikTok. Thank you everyone for hitting that button. Pardon me. 31 on YouTube. 2 more guesses to 33, which is a nice number. I like the alliteration. Ed, thank you for that rose. Daniel Berry says, yo, welcome Daniel. Sean says, Alexa Bliss versus Candice LeRae announced as a Chamber qualifying match. I would immediately suspect that Alexa Bliss is going to be taking that one. Ed says, hey, welcome Ed. Sean says, hi Tom, do you know why Duke Hudson was released? They simply had absolutely no idea what to do with him, basically, and couldn't really come up with anything. It was kind of awkward for everyone involved. Irish Neeb, thank you for becoming a channel member. I don't know if that's a brand new one. Yes, that's a brand new one. Thank you for becoming a channel member, Irish Neeb. There are members only videos that you can check out. There will be more coming in the near future, but by and large the channel membership is just a way to support rather than with particular rewards for it. I try and do members only videos as much as I can, but I also don't want to lock the news down, if you get what I'm saying. Thank you. TJ says, hi Tom, so do we get Alexa on SmackDown now with the Wyatt 6? Yes. One says, according to PWInsider, Elias signed of AEW. Why are they signing him knowing they have no momentum currently? They do have momentum. They are signing people in order to increase that momentum. They just don't have momentum the level of WWE. Liam says, guessing Belair versus Rhea at Mania? Wouldn't hate it. Spiderboss says, Roman's Rumble injury happened after Seth stomped him. Wasn't an injury, that was just good old-fashioned wrestling. Liam says, we'll Cena win the chamber. Not going to spoil it for you. I don't personally expect it, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to say this is going to be what the results are. Declan says, I'm still waiting for Becky Lynch return. You and me both, mate. Not long now. Calvin says, hey Tom. Welcome, Calvin. Bam says, so you maybe heard or saw that Jim Smallman is doing scouting in Europe. Currently he's in Italy. He was in UK in the past few days. First, I've heard of that. Penta says, sorry to clarify, I meant the walk-on music seems to be better in NXT. Sorry for the miscommunication. Gotcha. In NXT, WWE wrestlers are actually permitted to work on their entrance music and entrances themselves. You will find, for example, Ricochet had the one and only. There's a number of wrestlers who've had input from everyone involved to try and make their entrance as good as it can possibly be. Nick says, hey Tom, love catching up with you on your spoiler warning. Welcome, Nick. Good to see you, mate. Sean says, I wish they'd make up their mind about what brand Alexa is going to. First it was Raw, now it's SmackDown. We have more details on that shortly, just clarifying what reports came out, including, of course, my own. Thank you, Proud Dad, for sharing the stream. Ooh. Gordy says, what's up, Tom? It's been a minute. Hope all is well with you across the Atlantic. All very well, thank you, Gordy. Appreciate you dropping in. There's a lot of good happening when it comes to the channel and when it comes to my life at the moment. TikTok right now has 8 viewers, which I know doesn't sound like a lot considering we have 82 on YouTube, but that's a good number and continuing to go up. A large part of that is people like Ed who keep hitting that like button, people like Proud Dad who keep hitting that like button. Spiderboss, soon. On the YouTube side, of course, 82 viewers. We have 41 likes. The more we get, the closer we get to the 100. But we're also monetized once again. Every person who joins the YouTube show gets a ad on YouTube, which means money in my pocket. So if you are able to share it, please consider doing so. Liam says, SmackDown have officially announced Drew. Apart from Priest, which matches, feuds do you expect for him? I'd imagine there's still a lot of bloodline left to go. Cal says, I love Jay winning the Rumble. Hate how toxic certain parts of the wrestling community can be. However, yeet. Officially, I think we all understand. Mr. Sims, not a fan of Alexa Bliss. Says she's not a good wrestler. What I will say, and I think it's worth considering, she's always been a heel, so she hasn't really had a chance to show out. Hello, Noob. Good to see you, mate. Zeno, welcome. Jeremy says, I finally catch you live. Hope you're well, friend. Is there any word on the Wyatts? The Wyatts have new storylines being drawn up for them. It is a difficulty that they're having in getting everything lined up in a way that Bo Dallas is happy with and happy to proceed with. That is one of the difficulties that they're having. So they're working with a new creative team now on brand new concepts. We should be seeing them fairly soon. Nick Brennan says, watch the pig. Aaron says, hello, everyone. Welcome, Aaron. And P says, hey, Tom. Welcome, P. Bam says, someone was reporting that Money in the Bank will be an international PLE. Do you know anything about that for now? What's your source, mate? What's your source? Zeno says, the Wyatt 6 going to appear after the Alexa match. You will find out tonight. P says, hey, Tom. Welcome, P. That says, who's next for Penta? Well, there is someone coming to the show who we haven't seen for a while, who is going to be featured. It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. Cal says, is Jade coming back soon? I fully expected Rumble. Me too. Just to clarify, as regards what's going on with Jade Cargill, she is cleared. She is in the gym. She is working hard. We will be seeing her shortly. Xavier says, hopefully you're having a great day, Tom. I am indeed. Thank you, Xavier. I'm just having a nice chill day, fresh out of the bath, having a great time. Spiderboss says, in which brand do you think Roxanne will be part of? Roxanne, I would imagine, we'll be seeing on Raw, because I believe they announced the Chamber qualifying match will be on Raw. I believe that's what they announced. Liam says, could it be a swerve and Jay picks Cody and the winner of the Chamber faces Gunter? Yes. Liam suggests that match will be Malachi Black. Dan says, hey Tom, got your viewers coming to your channel. I spread the word. Appreciate that, Dan. Everyone who's sharing, everyone who's spreading that word, I very much appreciate you for doing so. We have grown almost entirely on positive word of mouth here. We have nearly 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're approaching our first 1,000 on TikTok. And it is just positive word of mouth. Individuals like yourself, Dan, who drop in randomly like what we do here and want to spread the word. I do appreciate it. Anyone who can share and does share, you're very much in my heart. Ed, what keyword did you add? You can't tell me because you've just blocked that keyword. Is it? Yeah, okay, got it. Sean says, according to Fightful, some WWE talents are apparently frustrated with their Death Rebel themes, have requested for their old themes back. Have you heard about this? Yes, I have. A lot of people really disappointed with the work that's been done and just not happy with the overall commitment of Death Rebel. Calvin says, why do you think no tag teams were in the Rumble, but Alpha Academy were in it? Simply because they included everyone that they wanted to have, and most tag teams are in the tag team division and simply not involved. Liam suggests it was Naomi who attacked Jade Cargill. Sid said, Natalya wants a match for the TNA Knockout title. She does. I reckon she'll get it. TJ says, Tom, could we see the Wyatt 6 target DIY for the tag titles, or is it Judgment Day still? I don't suspect that the Wyatt 6 will be going after championships anytime soon. The Wyatt 6 are in a very difficult position right now of having a very clear plan of what they want to do, and the WWE having a very different plan of what they want them to do. Noob says, do you see Asuka coming back at the Raw after the Elimination Chamber? I think it more likely it'll be after WrestleMania. Sid, that's cool. If you've got YouTube Premium, you will not get ads, but I still get paid as if you did have ads because your YouTube Premium membership is split down and basically spread out across all the channels you go to. So I do get a little bit from you just being here. The longer you spend here compared to other videos, the more I get. So it's quite nice. Dan says, is it true that Black, when he signs, goes to Raw? That's what I'm hearing. Haven't heard confirmation of where he's going, but I suspect Raw based on Penta and news, which I'll have a little later. Spider-Boss says, do you still see Cora Jade far away from the title picture in NXT? Yes, for reasons I'm about to go into later. Liam says, AJ Styles on Raw, the matches he can have, Penta, Braun, Ilya Dragunov when he's back. Plenty of good options there. Cal says, Sean Ross Sapp has said that one of the Wyatts are injured. Some not reliable journalists have said Howdy's injured. Do you think so? I have not been able to confirm any news about any members of the Wyatt Six who are injured, and as such, I do not repeat things which I cannot confirm. Jeremy said, does that mean Rob Fee isn't involved with the Wyatts anymore? He was involved with Bray. I've not been able to confirm much beyond that. Not as of yet, KJ. Lots of comments. Calvin says, I wonder if anyone notices that Obafemi will retain a Judgment Day. How could they notice something that hasn't happened? One says, hey Tom, what's your thoughts on the Harley Cameron Muppet that she's using to forward the Mercedes money feud? Reminds me of Alexa Bliss's doll. It's not even slightly related to the doll for me. The doll was incredibly unpopular. The puppet is glorious. Declan says, who do you see in the Elimination Chamber match? We are slowly filling those gaps, but I do reckon there'll be a lot of names still to come. I would quite enjoy having Jimmy in there, to be honest. That would be fun for me. Wrestler Fan says, who do you see AJ Styles facing at Mania 41? Personally, I think Styles versus Logan Paul is begging to happen. Begging to happen. The other Mike says, I think we probably at least 4 or 5 women's matches this year at WrestleMania. P says, I can't celebrate my membership milestone yet, gutted. Sorry to hear it, mate, but you know when the moment comes, you're going to very much enjoy it. Liam says, is Nikki Bella back full time? Not to my knowledge, no. TJ says, Tom, also it was confirmed Bo Dallas was the one sidelined due to a shoulder injury during that final prayer. Friend of mine whose son wanted to meet Taylor was told that by one of the members. Once again, TJ, unfortunately, I have not been able to personally confirm this information, and I am not willing to spread any information that I have not personally confirmed. There will be times when I say PWInsider have reported, Fightful have reported, etc., putting all of the onus on them. Everyone knows about this one. I've not been able to confirm it, so I cannot sit here and say, this is why this happened, this is what happened. I have no information. I cannot confirm it. Bam says, I think PWInsider reported Money in the Bank will be an international PLE. I'll wait to see what happens there. P says, good to see Fandango on NXT. Great stuff. Sorry. Fandango. You have to get it right. 47 likes on YouTube. 86 viewers. 3 more likes. Reckon we can break that 90. 3 new members as well. Daz, thank you very kindly for becoming a channel supporter. It's a great start to a new round of monetization, not just the ad revenue, but also a huge thank you to everyone who's become a channel member. That is a huge boost to what we do here, and genuinely it helps the income, helps guarantee greater editing software, greater time spent on videos because I can afford to spend time on videos, and snacks while doing so. So I appreciate you very much for that. Sid said, I think we'll see Cora Jade versus Xia Brookside in TNA because Cora Jade cost Xia Brookside a TNA knockout title match in the TNA Battle Royal. Calvin says, I find it disgusting that people on social media and YouTube are body shaming Eddie Thorpe. He's clearly just thick and more bulky. Yeah. But people will insist. Proud Dad says, do you have any information on why Solo is off television? Yes. Essentially, the intention was for Solo versus Roman to take place at WrestleMania. This was changed as Triple H essentially decided to have a shake-up of that card, and that match was moved to the first show on Netflix. One of the reasons for that was Jacob Fatu. He's massively exceeded expectations. The attention is very much on him, and, WWE wanted to take advantage of that. So right now, we're moving past our second tribal chief towards our third. Wrestler fan says, do you think Nikki Bella wrestles at WrestleMania 41? Only if there's a battle royal. Sean says, do you see Becky wrestling for a title at Mania? I've seen fans wanting Becky Lyra at Mania. Not sure, but I'm confident she wrestles. And Roy mentioned the WWE have confirmed Drew McIntyre is now on SmackDown. Liam says, imagine Money in the Bank in France. That'll be generational. Can't wait for Clash in Paris. Money in the Bank, of course, has already happened in the UK. We are 20 minutes in. We're about to get to our first piece of news. That might well be a new record. We got to 51 likes on YouTube. Keep those rolling in. We got to 5,300 on TikTok. Keep those rolling in. We're also apparently in the top 10% of our league, which means we should go up a league based on your donations. Thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate that. I don't know how long that will last, but it's nice to have. So thank you very much for your continued generosity on both sides. We start with news of new contracts for a number of individuals. Shortly before the Royal Rumble, 2 people signed new and quite similar 5-year deals. Those 2 people were Alexa Bliss, that we've already covered, and Kevin Owens, who just before the Royal Rumble signed a new 5-year deal. Kevin Owens did get more money than Alexa Bliss, but Bliss has to wrestle less dates to get that money. So to compensate, otherwise the contracts are very, very similar. Sami Zayn has not yet put pen to paper, but WWE believe he will very shortly. The match seems to be set for WrestleMania between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, a match that the two of them very much enjoy. It should have a relatively populist spot, and of course Kevin Owens is getting a great storyline right now. For Sami Zayn, he is waiting for something a little stronger, or at least to be promised a little stronger, and I do expect he will get his wish. His win over Gunther at WrestleMania last year really cemented his position as one of the best in the business, and I do expect him to be thoroughly rewarded for that, even if I still don't necessarily expect a world championship in his future. Plenty more news to come. I'll catch up once more with the chat, and then we will get to that. 98 viewers, 53 likes. Give me 2 more likes, and we might well get up to 100. Also, is it good news that, because I've seen plenty of opinions on this, I just want to ask a question while I've got you. Let's get the chat rate going. Let's get it all going. A quick question for everyone. I want to canvass this and get opinions. Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. Do you think this is a good pick? Not the right pick, a good pick. Yes or no? Is Jey Uso a good pick for the Royal Rumble? Answer in the comments. Let's get it raining in here and let's get things started. To catch up, Liam says, is Sami versus Owens planned for the Chamber? It seems more likely at this point that that will be their WrestleMania match. Just going to check if we've got any boosts to enjoy. Expiring, we do. Let's use that. That will apparently boost the amount of people who join and potentially find us and potentially stick around. I've just realised I haven't actually plugged in the charger, which I always like to plug in to make sure that I don't kill my phone on TikTok. That was dangerous. Proud Dad says yes. Jess says yes and no. I don't want to see him in a world title match main eventing WrestleMania. It's very unlikely that he will. Dan says yes, mate. New scene. Hyped. Yeet. Spider-Boss says, I think Jey winning the Rumble was the wrong pick. There were better picks. For those who's joining, let me know if you think Jey Uso winning the Rumble was a good pick. Cal says, from her attire, I'm expecting the dark version of Bliss to be the character. I wonder if we'll see her in the Funhouse or her playground. It will be an evolving character based on the darker character. It will be a Wyatt 6 inspired character. It will not be the character that she had, who was recognised as the darker one. Erin says the channel membership auto-renewed when you re-enabled them, which was nice and convenient. Good to know. I can see so many green names, which is a nice refresher, I'll tell you that. Rickan says, any updates on Malachi Black? When can we expect him to show up? After Mania or before? He should be showing up before, but given that they won't really have much time to build to a Mania match, I'd imagine it'll be quite close to it, and I've got a bit of news on that to come. Sean says, was Becky's new contract for 5 years or was it less? I'm still waiting on details of that. I expect it to have been a 3-year deal for Becky Lynch. Big Boss says, WWE need Alexa Bliss to showcase more Wyatt 6. Embarrassing. It's not. With or without her, they are still nervous about showcasing too much Wyatt 6. Wrestler fan says, who do you think Randy Orton faces at Mania 41? I'm still kind of going for Cody, personally. I think he'd be a good fit to pop into the Elimination Chamber and just raise some hell. Drink beer, raise hell, etc. The Rabbit thinks it was a good choice. Marcel thinks it was a good choice as well. Rickan says, yes, he was a good pick. Bam says, I read this week, but I can't remember from which insider. WWE will use talent from numerous indie promotions during the European tour in March. They always do. That's not exactly news. Liam thinks Jay was not a good pick, knowing WWE they'd have gone to win at Mania. Ray, welcome to the TikTok side, says, who did you want to win the men's and women's Rumble? I wanted Becky Lynch. I like Jey Uso winning, personally. I think CM Punk would have been a good choice. Jey Uso certainly sets a cat amongst the pigeons. Proud Dad says, Jey winning was a great call. Over the fans, deserves the opportunity and a great entrance. Liam suggests Randy a secret entrance and wins. Wouldn't go secret. We'll just have him pop up in a qualifying match against a mystery opponent. It'd be fun. Cal says the best pick. Wrestler fan thinks it was a good one. Chris does. Ed says it's a fine pick. Cecil says a good pick and throws a yeet. Ashley says yes. Marcel says yeet, which is close to yes. Chris also yeets. Juan yeets. There's a lot of yeeting right now. Daz says yes. EDC says he earned a world championship run. It's going to be like Kofi Mania all over again. They made a great choice. I do agree. I think we could get a Kofi Mania here. I also don't necessarily fancy his chances of the win, but I didn't fancy Sami Zayn beating Gunter last year either. So Gunter, he's not good at WrestleMania. That would be an interesting little application to his character. FDR says good pick. Yes, they might as well pull the trigger on Jay as hot as he is right now. The other Mike says yes, most over superstar in wrestling, period. No brainer. TJ says it was surprising, but yes. Mick says it's a good pick without any doubt. Everything surprising is a good pick, nearly. And then drops a spoiler warning thumbs up. For those that don't know, because it's been a little while, if you're a channel member, there are custom emotes that Sai has created for us using the spoiler warning designs and the spoiler warning colours. So if that's something that's of interest to you, drop some in the chat, because why the hell not? Why the hell not? Liam says, when will WWE do Goldberg versus Gunter? It seems like maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't want to do that. Maybe the interest in Gunter versus Goldberg has already fallen. Spider-Man says, sometimes I don't get Rhea's booking on Raw. She's a champ and she keeps winning matches, basically. Unless someone cheats. Bam says, will you cover who is a newcomer who also signed a 5-year deal? Yes, I will. No, I don't watch UFC personally. Spider-Boss says, fans didn't want to hear Charlotte on Raw. We'll have something on that later. Calvin says, a great choice. Big Boss says, no Rock at WrestleMania 41. Doesn't seem likely at this point. No. Christopher says, Alexa Bliss versus Candice LeRae and Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven in qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber tonight on SmackDown. Bliss and Bianca do seem the obvious choices there. Cal says, I don't think Jay is probably the most over person in the company. He's got the crowd in his palm. Yeet. Liam says, personally, I don't see the point of a triple threat between Punk, Seth and Roman. Seth is only in there to take the pin. We'll see. Jess says, why does WWE insist on trying to make Charlotte the babyface? I don't get it. More on that shortly. Wrestler fan, you're asking, is the plan still for Jade versus Bianca? That's what I've been hearing. But at this point in time, there's a lot of momentum behind Bianca Rhea. Nick Brennan, very much going for the yes. Anthony Phillips says, I truly love your amazing YouTube channel. God bless you and your beautiful family and friends. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's a very, very nice thing to say. Aaron is dropping a let's go. Calvin says, if I'm A-Town Down Under, I would demand that management and creative start using me more, at which point they'll be fired. You don't make demands in WWE. KJ says, you think they're doing Sammy versus KO at Mania and not the Chamber? I'd imagine they're at the Chamber since it's in Canada. Maybe Randy versus KO at Mania. Personally, I think do both. Do it in Canada, do it at Mania. I don't think there's anything else it could really be. Unless they're planning to do Owens versus Cody again, don't want it. Juan says, would you be okay if Charlotte Flair did a shoot on live TV? She wouldn't do that. Cal says, I do ask Tom, are the WWE still cautious with Jade? Last year they were worried about her confidence. Has that position changed? Not really, no. Gordy says, WWE's brought back Evolve, will have their own show, WWE Evolve, that will debut on Wednesday, March 5th on Tubi. There are some rumours that that's essentially just their desperate way of trying to keep hold of William Regal after not really giving him the platforms that he wanted. For example, NXT Europe. WWE have a new way of working with their quote-unquote celebs. This largely involves giving and taking exposure, but very little in the way of putting over. The WWE, particularly Triple H, believe that their platform is a very strong one, and it is a platform that will allow celebrities to walk in, get their viral moment, and then F off again. So that's what the WWE are doing. The intention is not to put over people like KSI, it's not to put over people like IShowSpeed. It's made very clear to these people as they come in, we're going to beat you up, and you're going to like it. IShowSpeed did receive training in how to take a spear from Bron Breakker, but apparently, in conversation with Bron Breakker, he discussed ways that he could make it look more intense to make the moment go viral in a stronger way. You see, IShowSpeed is one of the most popular streamers in the world because he's happy to make himself look like an idiot. So even if you hate him, you know who he is. WWE were pleasantly surprised by the moment, very happy with his work, and eager to use him again as long as he can promise more viral moments. Liam says Bayley is pushing for Evolution 2. She has been for years. It's not going to happen. Ray says Charlotte Flair should go for the TNA knockout title. Don't hate it. And Spider-Boss says we've seen more celebrities on Raw than the IC title on TV. Ouch. Poor Nakamura. KJ says, I'm watching from behind, but to answer your question about Jay winning the Rumble, I 100% agree with him winning. I can type a book length of reasons as to why Jay deserves it. Mike says, would love to see Jimmy get a lengthy singles run. He could be awesome too. Bismo says, hey Tom, been a while since I've been in. Hope everything's been going well with you. It has indeed, Bismo. Welcome back to this show. Cal says, I do think Jade has incredible potential, but I do think she doubts herself at times. Hopefully she can work in it because I really believe she can be the face of the women's division. I personally would not go that far just yet. PWInsider have confirmed my report that Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and CM Punk will wrestle a triple threat at WrestleMania. This is what I reported on Monday, and I know plenty of you saw this one coming. What you will not have seen coming, to share some info on this, Paul Heyman is said to be key to the story. Conversations between Punk and Heyman and Roman and Heyman are key to this, and likely there'll be some engagement between Seth and Heyman as well. Punk and Rollins are expected to take the slow train, allowing momentum to build into the chamber without necessarily being the everything involved. WWE are fully aware that we've already seen plenty of Punk and Rollins. They really want to feature Roman, but Roman's not going to be back until after Chamber. Roman returning will be what kicks this feud into high gear. All three men, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, will be out of the WrestleMania main event this year. It feels like it's been a very long time since we've been able to say Roman Reigns will not be featuring in the main event of WrestleMania. We have 58 likes on YouTube. 2 more get me to 60. If you can, please consider doing so. Jess says that's crazy, and she's not wrong. Cal, we will be doing watch-alongs for both the Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. We'll be setting that up as we get closer to time, but because of the days involved, I will absolutely be doing all of that, which reminds me, actually, I need to book the Monday after WrestleMania off from work because no thank you. Been there, done that. Ray says, are you buying 2K25? I don't really enjoy the 2K games. I was a big guy for WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, but 2K, I've tried them. Last one I tried was 17, but yeah. Dan says Roman moving to Raw as CM Punk and Rollins on Raw. Bit of action going on there. Ed says, is it Mania if Roman isn't in the main event? We'll find out. Liam says, could we see Joe Hendry versus Jey Uso for the TNA Championship at Mania? No. Miguel says, let's see if Roman doesn't main event Mania. Last time Roman didn't main event was in 2020. Yeah, and the only reason that happened is because he had to bow out. Michael says, will WWE Evolve be the WWE ID talent? There will be some WWE ID talent there, but it will largely be people who aren't quite ready for NXT. This is part of a larger WWE plan to turn NXT into the third brand and not a developmental brand. TNA talent will also appear in WWE Evolve. Chris says, with Drew on SmackDown, who's his first feud? I mean, I think we've already nailed that one with the Damian Priest of it all. Penta says, any big plans for Jimmy Uso? Depends what you mean by big. There are plans. I wouldn't call them huge. Christopher says, 71 days until WrestleMania 41. Bam says, it sucks that Bo has the same problems at creative as Bray had. I agree. Cal says, I felt very bad for you last WrestleMania weekend. You streamed, 12 hours, possibly more, and were sick. We love and appreciate you, Tom. Yeah, unfortunately, the amount of talking that you do in a show like that, you end up sick. Thank you, Sid, saying the YouTube stream is going perfect. One says, according to Mercedes Money herself, she's eyeing Megan Bain to replace Camille in her faction. Cody says, Gabe Sapolsky will be the showrunner for WWE Evolve. Interesting. And Cal says, I do believe the Wyatts and Final Testament will cross paths once again. To be clear, the Wyatts are not being released, so there is still plenty of time for that to happen. It says Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor, who are WWE ID talent, are in the commercial for for Evolve. Yeah, so that confirms. Liam says, guessing Roman Seth Punk to open night 1 and Jay Gunter main event night 1, then Cena Cody night 2. Spider-Boss says, I don't get why WWE broke up NXT's Chase U stable, because they did everything they could possibly do and then some. Jess says, when Heyman runs off with Seth and they kiss like Liv and Dom to close out WrestleMania. I'm not going to ship it because poor Becky, but that's the only reason I'm not shipping it. Cecil says, do you look at WWE Championship and World Championship as one being more important? Yeah, WWE Championship is obviously much more important. Calvin says, do you know if a Drew McIntyre LA Knight feud is in the works? Not at this point in time. Penta says, is there light at the end of the tunnel for the Wyatt 6? Yes, once again, they are not exactly being released. We can still expect to see them in the days to come. Quick update as regards both the TikTok and YouTube sides. We are now monetized on both. You can give donations and gifts on TikTok and you can join the team on TikTok. That does help get us up the ranks of the leagues that you have for live and increase visibility and increase the amount of people who will be watching. On the YouTube side, you'll get an ad when you first join the show. You'll also get ads at the end of the show when I go dark and I hit the ad button a couple of times. Anyone who basically is just lurking and hasn't been paying attention, they'll get a few ads. Even if they don't see them, I'll still get paid. You can also, of course, become a member if you would like. There is a channel supporter tier, which is just $1 per month. And there is a channel member tier, which is $5 per month. It is entirely up to you how much you wish to donate if you would like to do so. Nobody has to donate. You can give individual on-the-spot donations on both sides, gifts on TikTok, monetary donations on YouTube. Both are options. Please consider them if you would like to support, but there is no pressure to do so. Jordynne Grace has signed with the WWE for 5 years. Fightful have now confirmed my report that she will start in NXT and be called up shortly afterwards. There will be a rush, particularly of women, who are going to be called up to the main roster in the months to come. 2025 in WWE will be the year of the woman, and WrestleMania will be a huge turning point for women's representation on the main roster of WWE. Liam says it wouldn't shock me if the favourite Punk wants his Heyman as his advocate again, which then he turns on Roman at Mania. Personally, I was hoping and thinking that he would wait until Roman has the championship again, but hey, it's not a bad shot. Spider-Boss says, I think Megan Bain being Mercedes' bodyguard could work better than what they did with Camille. Ooh. Patrick Windle says, yes, Jay is a good pick. Wendell, I do apologise. Cal says, I think everyone has PTSD from the way creative was with Bray. It's a different company, and I believe it's not been easy, but the Wyatts are going to cook. I wholeheartedly hope so. Cal also says, why have they made Shinsuke Nakamura a gothic stalker instead of him defending his belt? Number of reasons. They're looking to rebuild the Intercontinental Championship division, but at the moment, it kind of feels like they're trying to make him sign a new deal, and he doesn't want to. Penta says, is there plans to bring back Brie Bella? I don't know at this point. Is it true Jey Uso only found out 2 hours before the Rumble because you reported different? I did report different. I didn't report that he found out different, though. I reported that the decision was made months ago. The decision was not made at the beginning of January. The decision was made way back during his feud with Bron Breakker. As to when he found out, he did indeed find out during rehearsals. What I reported was not when he found out, it was when the WWE decided. Just to be clear on that one, I appreciate that. Big Boss says, I wish wrestling fans stopped blaming the talent for winning matches. Wrestling fans need to blame the person booking the show or make that decision, Tony Khan and Triple H. Mick says, does that mean CM Punk will not main event WrestleMania again? Yes, it does. CM Punk will not be main eventing WrestleMania. Thank you, Ed. Yep, sorry, I'm used to Nakamura being IC champ. Thank you for the clarification. I do keep saying that. Always appreciate a correction. If I'm saying the wrong thing, guys, please do let me know. Spider Boss, I think Mercedes was trying genuinely to get Camille over. Hasn't quite worked, and that's a shame. Cal says, the main question is, did Grace's mother have a good birthday? Grace said she was on party duty. Christopher says, Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade will be on the main roster after WrestleMania 41. I have more on that to come. Big Boss says, don't hype about something or you're going to be disappointed. I won't go that far. There are things to hype over. It's just that you can't hype over everything. KJ says, Seth versus Punk versus Reigns won't main event. So do you think Jay and Gunter main events or a women's match? I'd like to see Rhea versus Bianca main event. My immediate thoughts is that the night one main event will be Charlotte versus Tiffany, and the night two main event will be Cody versus... Bam says, any news maybe on NXT Europe? It seems to have been entirely abandoned at this point. Cal says, I don't get disappointed about anything in wrestling. We are lucky to have it. And Penn says, are there any plans for Fandango or bringing Tyler Breeze back in? There have been offers, and this is curious. There have been offers to bring Tyler Breeze back in, particularly given that he's actually under WWE contract, just not a wrestling contract. There have been offers to him to come back, and for some reason, he hasn't said yes. I'd love to know why, but he hasn't said yes. Cal says, when will we see the tribal chief back? Tonga Loa. Calvin says, the only explanation I think Kevin Owens will have for Monday is that Sammy betrayed him when he didn't help him in the ladder match. I think he's had some issues with Sammy for a while now. TJ says, Tom, do you think in the future we'll see Uncle Howdy going for the title that his brother was never pinned for? Okay, so which title are you referring to there? The title that he lost to Brock Lesnar, or the title that he lost to Goldberg? Or maybe the title that he lost to Roman, because that was the title he wasn't pinned for. But he only had that for a week. Declan says, if Becky Lynch does come back, do you see her in the main event of WrestleMania? No. Thank you, Ed. Further clarification. Says, Tyler Breeze confirmed he's working in the writer's office at NXT on the Rumble Weekend Tops show. He is under WWE contract. And yet offers have been made and he keeps saying no. Big Boss says, for the third time, Charlotte WrestleMania Mania match is going to be a reject watch. I don't think it will be, and I'll get to that shortly. So let's get back to news. Fair enough, Jess. I'll keep my mouth shut on that one. I was surprised that Bliss wasn't on Raw. I was confident she was going to be on Raw. I was wrong, and I apologise for that. Especially after PWInsider also reported she'd be on Raw. Now, I'm told she will be working with the Six, so her move to Raw was outdated news as of last week. You see, the Wyatt Six moving to SmackDown was a very late choice. They were originally going to be staying on Raw and working with Final Testament. This would then mean that Alexa Bliss debuted back on Raw, working with them. There was no plan to actually separate her from the Wyatt Six. That was misinformation fed by WWE. In fact, Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss is still very much on the table for WrestleMania, though there are a few little roadblocks before they can actually get there. So what I will say, it was outdated information. I reported it. I was incorrect. She is going to be on SmackDown, as we now know, as has now been confirmed, and I'm excited to see that happen. Liam, there is no wrestler in the world who has 100% creative control. Spider-Boss says, I think Roman will pin Punk. Do you think Roman versus Seth versus Punk needs a stipulation? No. Spider-Boss also says, Jacob Fatu saying, I love you, Solo. Got a bigger pop than Solo for a while. Yeah, he's getting the man over. Got to give him credit for it. Declan says he may be happy where he is, which is fair. Alyssa says, hope Charlotte doesn't beat Tiffany Stratton WrestleMania. Bad decision like her best. Rhea Ripley again. She shouldn't win WrestleMania against Tiffany. More on that shortly. Dominic Mysterio has been promised a match at WrestleMania, leading to rumours and speculation that we will see Dominic Mysterio and Aleister Black, a heel Aleister Black, taking on Rey Mysterio and Penta at WrestleMania. My expectation would be that that is how they reintroduce Aleister Black, but Aleister Black finishes the match by delivering a massive kick to the face of Dominic Mysterio, ensuring that he is firmly on the face side. That is speculation at this point, but Dominic Mysterio has been promised a match at WrestleMania. Big Boss wants Alexa and Nikki in a tag team. Cal says, will Black be part of Judgment Day? What reason would there be for that? There isn't really a Judgment Day anymore, but I get what you were saying as regards it, but I think he'll be brought in to counter Penta. He'll have some matches with Penta, and Dominic Mysterio will be abusing that connection. So, Charlotte Flair. The build for Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton starts tonight, though Nia Jax is said to have been positioned as a major spoiler for the feud. There is a suggestion that SmackDown will see, eventually, a Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae match as Flair built her way back to fitness, essentially meaning that they will both be faces for a little while because of the feud with Nia Jax, and eventually this is going to be leading to something big at WrestleMania. WWE were frustrated by the reaction to Flair during Raw, but the suggestion coming out of Monday Night Raw seems to be that Charlotte Flair herself recognized the reaction she was getting and changed sides. She chose in that moment not to lean into the face side that she's been told to play and to push back towards the heel alignment. This means a double turn at Mania, where Tiffany Stratton becomes a formal face and Charlotte Flair becomes a heel, is increasingly likely. The WWE know what they have with Tiffany Stratton. The only reason she's a heel right now, technically, is because they want an official turn, allowing the crowd to get really heavily behind her. What better way than a confirmation turn with Charlotte going heel, the way the fans want her to be, and Tiffany Stratton going face the way the fans want her to be. I don't think it could possibly get any better than that. And personally, I'm hoping that's exactly what they do. Liam says, I'd just do Penta versus Rey and Dom versus Malachi Black. You only get so many matches at WrestleMania. They will squish a few into tag matches just to make sure everyone gets on the card. Spider-Boss says, Aleister Black kicking Dom in the face. Book it, Triple H. Where's my catch up? Gotcha, TJ. I understand what you're saying. Declan says, I wish Becky screwed Charlotte at WrestleMania as a payback for 2019. That's not going to happen. Water under the bridge, mate. The other Mike says, what's Finn doing for Mania? Seems like he's lost in the shuffle at the moment. I suspect he'll be in a tag team match. He is. People are kind of forgetting about him. He's not going to have a prominent role. His new contract was not for a particularly big push. He just wasn't. Cal says, I wonder if they'll bring Braun into the Wyatt world or if they'll put it on hold for a while. The original intention was to have him sort of working adjacent to the Wyatt Six for a while, but not to be really a part of it for any long-term amount of time. Penta says, are there any plans for new members in Bloodline, or is it a waiting game for the right time? They are planning to build Jacob Fatu. Eventually, he will lead a version of the Bloodline. So yes, and kind of no, because it's taking time. KJ says, I don't know if you'll know or not, but speaking of Camille, is it possible she's being punished after she basically buried Tony's booking off her? It's possible. I would say it's likely, but Mercedes' money would be protecting her. Bismo says, just don't care for Charlotte Flair anymore. Didn't miss her while she was gone. I did. Alyssa says Dom versus JC SummerSlam for title night 1. Main event. Big Boss says he better turn Charlotte heel because right now she's getting booed. The longer they spend not turning her heel, the more fans will cheer when she eventually does. As in, be happy that she's evil. Razar says Charlotte's vignettes leading to her return were giving heel, so I don't know what they were expecting. They could have led into Charlotte's road to recovery more. They could have done, but as I say, I do think the double turn is what they're really thinking. Christopher says Charlotte Flair is a better heel than a face. I agree. Spider Boss says fans have been cheering Tiffany since her main roster debut, which is absolutely true. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez is being mentioned for WrestleMania. I think there's a high chance that the Women's Tag Team Championships are defended in a four-corner once again, with Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade in one side, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in another, and then some combination of others in order to fill out that gap. The Women's Tag Team Championships are expected to feature at WrestleMania. The Women's Mid-Card Championships, them, I'm interested to see where they land. Mr. Sim says, I'm not booing, I'm wooing. And one says, according to Tony Khan, he's inviting the LA Lakers to Revolution pay-per-view. Imagine if he can convince LeBron James to show up at the pay-per-view. Would you tune in just to see a guy in a crowd? I personally wouldn't. That is all the news I've got. We've been live for 48 minutes. And we are going to wrap up there. If you can, on YouTube, stay on for a couple of minutes after we go dog. I do hit the ad button, and I do appreciate it because if there's 111 people here, when I hit the ad button, 111 people see an ad, and basically it triples the income I've made from ads. Genuinely. If you're on the TikTok side, I will say sayonara as well. But for now, I will say, as always, I've been Tom Colohue, you've been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.